Welcome, you're watching Vox News, your daily news updates with Rita Kamkumo. Our headlines today: Ghanaians pay their last respect to their former president, the iconic Jerry Rawlings, before his burial on Wednesday. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa denounces the alleged hoarding of COVID-19 vaccines by some rich countries for their population. Seychelles becomes the first nation to open its borders to vaccinated visitors worldwide amid the coronavirus pandemic. The people of Ghana on Monday began paying their last respects to their former iconic president, Jerry John Rawlings, whose body was laid in state at the Accra International Conference Center, open to government officials and the general public. Many remember Rawlings as a great leader with a unique personality and a strong sense of service.
Former President Jerry John Rawlings is a man who loves the grassroots. He is a father, a friend, and a boss. We love him. We work with him with loyalty because of his way of leadership. So if you see all those who are here, you can see who he is for us.
I quite remember when we were in Nima, the way he trooped in with his bodyguards when he's coming. Even the enthusiasm by which he is coming to the area shows you that this man is really ready for the task. And you know by then, when you talk about Nima, because of the hooliganism and all those stuff, he was the one who was able to, I think, stabilize the situation in Nima. Even though we will say that he came to do his part, some are still left to be done, but he played a very major role in some of us.
I see it all, but I don't want to say much. He has done great things. If he has done anything that is not called for the people of Ghana to save them, then Ghanaians has been very ungrateful.
The late stalwart of Pan-Africanism, who passed away in November 2020, aged 73, will be laid to rest in a state funeral on Wednesday in Accra. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, during the virtual Davos summit of the World Economic Forum on Monday, denounced the alleged hoarding of COVID-19 vaccines by some rich countries for their population.
We are concerned about vaccine nationalism. The rich countries of the world went out and acquired large doses of vaccines from the developers and manufacturers of these vaccines. And some countries have even gone beyond and acquired up to 4 times what their population needs. And that was aimed at hoarding these vaccines. And now this is being done to the exclusion of countries, of other countries in the world that most need this.
Ramaphosa's statement is in line with the World Health Organization's repeated warnings. It comes at a time when South Africa has recorded nearly 1,500,000 COVID-19 cases to date, making it the epicenter of the disease in Africa. The country, plagued by a second wave of the virus deemed worse than the initial outbreak, aims to vaccinate 2/3 of its population against coronavirus by the end of the year. After becoming the first African nation to start vaccinating its population against COVID-19 this month, the Republic of Seychelles became the first nation in the world to welcome vaccinated tourists, while the coronavirus pandemic is still ongoing. Tourism industry workers, however, believe it will be a while until mass tourism resumes.
The government have no choice but to open the borders. We depend on tourism. It's our main industry. If we don't, we will go down. We won't succeed. We need to open it, and we need to do it in a way that we can control the situation. I think it's a good move as long as it's very controlled. It has to be controlled for the time being until the time comes for us to fully open. Although the government has announced they know that the amount of tourists won't be that big coming in. but we're just preparing ourselves to be ready when it happens. When the mass tourism starts flowing in, we are ready for that. For us to be done, keeping the place cleaning, sanitizing ourselves, and and also we have to let the clients know, even if a change, they've got injection, we still remind them of the new situation, the new way of thinking now. So I think we are ready, and I think the government and the tourism industry is on the right track for this to come. Right now, I think it's not picking up at all. But the thing that they have announced is that it's coming soon. We will see in the next few months that's coming. We will see us into a situation which is, and the problem is that we are in vaccinating our population, which is fantastic. Right now, I think we are the second country in the world with the highest vaccination.
With about 90,000 inhabitants, the archipelago of 115 islands has so far registered just over 1,000 coronavirus cases and only 3 COVID-19 related deaths. On the education front, students in Mali resumed their classes on Monday as schools reopened after several delays due to the coronavirus pandemic.
The start of the school year has been successful here. The children have come. All the teachers are present. There are no absentees.
We have talked a lot about the coronavirus. We want them to understand the dangers and especially the measures that needs to be taken.
Since yesterday, the day before yesterday, we've been distributing masks because the state has sent us a large quantity of masks for each child. Not only in public schools, even private schools have received them.
However, some teachers complained about the difficulty for students to respect social distancing in crowded classrooms and the lack of hygienic supplies.
We know very well that social distancing is not easy at all, because here we have only one public school, and as you can see, there are too many students. It's hard to manage classes. We need more classrooms, we need more space.
We've been supplied with the kits, masks, but what we are sorely lacking is soap and alcohol, bleach, iodized alcohol. We had to pay for that ourselves. I had to pay for the soaps.
The reopening of schools in Mali was followed by the resumption of cultural, artistic and tourist activities this Tuesday. The country of 19 million people has officially registered less than 8,000 coronavirus cases and about 300 COVID-19 related deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. On the environment front, tropical cyclone Eloise, which wreaked havoc in Mozambique over the weekend, has resulted in heavy rains and flooding in parts of South Africa. The cyclone on Monday passed over South Africa's greater Kruger National Park after it hit central Mozambique last Friday, where it caused severe flooding in the second city, Beira, destroying buildings, crops and displacing thousands of people. On the international scene, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Monday addressed the ongoing pressure that he is under to reopen schools that have been closed since the 5th of January, following the introduction of a third national lockdown in Britain, as he visited a vaccination centre in London.
I do think now this massive achievement has been made of rolling out this vaccination programme. I think people want to see us making sure that we don't throw that away by having a premature relaxation and then another big surge of infection. Schools obviously will be a priority, but I don't think anybody would want to see the restrictions lifted so quickly whilst the rate of infection is still very high. There's nothing I want to do more than reopen schools. I fought to keep schools open for as long as I possibly could. We want to see schools back. We want to see them back as fast as possible. We want to do that in a way that is consistent with fighting the epidemic and keeping the infection rate down.
Only vulnerable students and children of essential workers are currently allowed to attend schools for face-to-face learning. Meanwhile, the other primary and secondary pupils are receiving remote learning, possibly until after Easter, according to Health Secretary Matt Hancock. Meanwhile, in Britain, Health Minister Matt Hancock said on Monday that nearly 80% of all British adults aged over 80 have already received their first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine.
And I'm very proud to be able to tell you that as of last night, we have vaccinated 78.7% of all over 80s. That's almost 4 in 5 of everyone aged over 80. And the new variant that was first discovered in Kent, which comprises now a significant number of our cases, it is spreading 30 to 70% more easily than the existing variants. And based on analysis conducted by academic colleagues in a variety of studies, there is a realistic possibility that this variant may be associated with increased mortality.
With a population of over 66 million people, the United Kingdom has so far registered more than 3,600,000 coronavirus cases, including nearly 100,000 COVID-19 related deaths, according to official data. On the football scene, Chelsea said on Monday that they had dismissed manager Frank Lampard after 18 months in charge and after a poor run in the Premier League. Lampard leaves with Chelsea 9th in the Premier League after last week's loss at Leicester City and a single victory in their past 5 league matches. Former Paris Saint-Germain head coach Thomas Tuchel might replace him. That's it for today. Thank you for watching Vox News.